Hi guys, Ben here from 100M Man. Just to follow on from what I was talking about earlier on in the other video regarding stress, is regret. Now, I don't think there's one person on earth that doesn't wish or would be happy to turn back time and change or alter some of the choices that they've made. But living in the past and being in the past, like I said with regards to therapy about letting go and moving on, you can become caught up in mistakes, in alternative choices. And for me, I took a bit of a detour with regards to how I approached choices I've made in the past, in that for a long time I held on to regret, resentment, and it didn't produce anything productive to me. It didn't produce anything that was going to support any kind of betterment or any change or any development spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally. There was nothing there supporting it. So I made the choice to not only let go of any kind of resentment, bad choices, but to utilise those experiences and make sure and learn from them. And there's an NLP saying that there's never failure, there's only feedback, and it probably goes on beyond, the 50s, 60s into probably the biblical times in the way that we approach things. Now, there's never such a thing as failure. All the time that you can view it as a learning curve. And this is the big and. You're acting in the present. You're being present in the moment. I hear many people saying, I wish I hadn't made that choice. Now, if you're always acting in the present and working in the best interest for you, not selfish, but best interest for you, acting in the moment, doing the best for you, the most productive for you, only you, in that moment, then there's no regret to be had, because you acted with your best interests at heart. And it took me a long time to get around that. I was in a relationship at the time that wasn't particularly productive, it wasn't going anywhere. But I enjoyed being in that relationship for the sake of just being in a relationship. My partner at the time, she was a lot stronger than me. She said, look, this isn't working. This is not going anywhere. This is not being productive. I'm not happy. I'm going to move on. Now, she was a lot stronger than me in that sense, because I was happy just being. I was happy being in something, doing something that wasn't true to me, where I wasn't really acting in the moment. I knew what needed to be done. I knew the relationship was unproductive, wasn't helpful, wasn't supportive, and this was a while ago. And I had a lot of learning to do. I had a lot of development to do. And I look back at that relationship not as wasted time, not as bad or insignificant, or have any need to block it out, but to understand that I needed to go through that process. I needed to be in that relationship to learn and experience and increase my own, not only self-value and worth, but also understand how when you act in that present, when you're acting in alignment with not only your legacy planning, which I talk about a lot in my books and on this journey, when you're acting in that moment of selflessness, when you're working to improve not only yourself but only your future, when you're clear about what you want to achieve in life and you're acting constantly in the present moment, then there can never be any regret. There can be never any resentment, anger or frustration towards failing to take the action needed. always subconsciously I've taken the effort or the approach that I've never wanted to reach my mature years. And have resentment, regret, envy, anger. Hence one of the reasons why I'm taking myself on this physical journey at the moment. Not only to develop myself, but also to accomplish something for me. And anyone that does any endurance sports will understand that it can be quite a lonesome, solitary life for a period of time. And if you've got a family, then that affects them. Despite doing your very best to avoid any kind of family disruptions, it will happen. It does happen. But if you're in a productive relationship that's supportive, they understand the need to be self, to have and retain that identity, then they also understand that they're working towards a better you, an evolved you. And I've met so many people that have failed to do the things they wanted because their partner, lover, friend, whatever has given them or guided them away from it, because they've not wanted them to do it for their own selfish reasons. And then that relationship later on breaks down. They hit a crossroads, and that opportunity is lost to go and do. As I said, it takes a strong person, a strong relationship to really forge on those beliefs and those structures. And I'm not saying you need to be selfish and go and do what you need to do irrelevant of what the other person thinks. What I am saying is that it's important to communicate that within your relationships. It's important to work towards a better, evolve together. And it's common for people, especially when they have children. I have 2 children, I'm married, of 10 years. It's common for people in relationships to come together as 2 separate identities. And over the space of a little amount of time, they merge into one. They become a couple. That identity is lost. They no longer know who they are. And I'm a great believer that that's the reason for the so-called midlife crisis. The person realises that they have no identity. They're no longer anything that they were many years ago. And then they fight to regain that identity. The relationship breaks down because they act out of character. But if you're in that understanding, open relationship that allows growth and development, there serves no purpose to have a midlife crisis, a breakdown, because the other person supports growth and development, the freedom to be more of a person, unrestricted. We are animals at the end of the day. We have that innate animal instinct to go out, to be free, to have more. If you cage an animal, if you cage a human, they will constantly be thinking about the outside world, what they're missing out on. And from that builds anger, resentment, unhappiness, envy. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're stressed and regret is part of that, then it's time for a little bit of internal reflection over relationship and whatever that word means to you. Because we all have the ability to relate better. Relationship is simply, the word itself means to communicate as a vessel. relate-ship. That's what it is. It's communicating with another using language as a vessel. If you're not communicating effectively within a relationship, the relationship will break down. That's a fact. If you're the couple that sits at a dinner table or goes out for a meal and spends your whole time looking at a phone, communicating via social media, messenger, whatever, to the world outside, and you're not communicating with that person in front, and there is no communication, it is because you have lost your identity. Identities. You fell in love, you joined together, you became a unit based around separate identities. You merged and became one, and you lose that relationship. And I'm not a person to be giving the best relationship advice. I've been married for 10 years, been in a relationship for 14, and I've had my ups and downs. You know, I've had my communication breakdowns. But there's been some learnings there's been some understandings, there's been evolution in my relationship. We've both continued to grow. And when you've been with someone 10 years, you're not the same people you were 10 years ago either. Your interests are no longer the same. I was speaking to my wife about it only last night. And it takes commitment, and it takes the openness to communicate in that way, to say, you know, the interests we once had, that's no more. But having the respect of that individual for them to go out and to complete and to fulfill what interests them without restriction. My interests are based around fitness, sport, the outdoors, being with nature. My wife has part interest in that, but not all. She's not an athlete. She has no aspirations to do or take part in any endurance event, ever. Doesn't mean she's any less of a person. It doesn't mean that our relationship is not good or we have little in interest. What it means is that our relationship has evolved whereby we respect each other and don't have the restrictions that many other relationships have. We support the choices that we make, and we encourage each other to go out and fulfill life, be life, live in life, act in the present. And it's not hard to do. You know, if you're 10 years into a relationship and it's not like that, there's no reason why you can't introduce that into your relationship right now, today. It doesn't take much of a shift. So, regret, resentment. Always act in the present. If your instinct feels right, then follow through with it. And all the time you're doing so, you don't allow room for regret, resentment, envy, hatred. So that's it for now. Please remember to subscribe using the link below. Leave some comments. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. Hit me up on Facebook. So for now, peace out, be safe.